Good morning, everyone, and welcome to AMHQ Early. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno. Our third nor'easter is taking shape in the Northeast and New England this morning. We have live coverage for you from New York to Rhode Island. And it is all going on right now into the north and east. Here's a look at where we have the alerts. The blizzard warnings in effect here for the New England coastline, including Boston, including Cambridge, including Quincy, out towards the Cape as well, and up towards Portland here in Maine. We also have winter storm warnings, which does include places like Worcester, eastern end of Long Island, and we are getting it with the snow right here as well. Watching that snow steady, at least here. I've seen snow, the visibility from the snowfall coming down to about a mile, sort of worst case scenario right now, but that's going to, I think, come down even more through the day. Now, here's a look at where some of the heaviest of snow is. It's the eastern end of Long Island. It's Boston, and really out towards the Cape, you're getting some of the heavier stuff. You may mix in with rain to start, as you're seeing the little blip of green on the radar right there. New York City, lighter snow, but still some snow coming down. I saw Newark, your visibility running about a mile this morning, and Jersey right along the coast. You guys are getting some snow as well. So Boston, it is windy, gusting to over 45 miles per hour right now, along with the snow. That's going to remain the case today as we take a look at the pattern as we get into Winter Storm Skylar today. So the low itself and the whole storm system pretty far off the coast, but it's a very strong low. It's got a big precip shield, and it's far enough that we are close enough, I should say, that we're going to still get all the wind. We're going to get the snow, but that rain snow line, because it's far enough, is going to keep it offshore. So here we go. Let's get you into today's forecast. We are in the snow already. We are in the wind already. That is on through the day today. But Skylar is a quick hitting storm. We're only going to have a one-day shot at this thing. So today's the day. This is 6 o'clock tonight, and by 8 o'clock, you can see already the snow is starting to pivot out. The winds will change direction, and that will help with any coastal concerns. And as we get into this evening, there'll be snow showers, mainly, though, as we see that wraparound continuing up into northern parts of Vermont, New York, New Hampshire, and then Maine. We hang on to the snow a bit longer into the overnight and into really tomorrow, too. So here are the totals. Boston, we are in it for more than a foot of snowfall. We are watching for 12 to 18, a pretty widespread area of 12 to 18 inches of snow, stretching from Rhode Island right up through much of eastern Mass into New Hampshire, and much of Maine is going to see that as well. Some areas locally getting close to 2 feet of snow. It's really where those bands set up, where the heaviest of snow bands set up, is going to be the challenge there. New York City, it's a 1 to 3 inch kind of snow. Philly, your visibility 10 miles right now. Yes, it's flurrying, but that's about it. This is not your storm. Here's a look at the winds. Boston, I mentioned that we have been gusting over 45 miles per hour, gusting to about 41 actually right now. So very windy here. You can see offshore very even windier as well, gusting to 45 at the buoy just off the coast of the Cape. This northeast wind, gusty like this, is going to be with us through the day, which is why, especially on the coast, there is that concern for a blizzard. Now, to get into a blizzard, you have to get visibility below a quarter of a mile, winds over 35 miles per hour for 3 hours or more. We're hitting the wind criteria. We have not yet hit the visibility, but with that wind, we are likely to see power outages, especially on the coastline. Snow we're going to get. It has been snowing in Worcester. You can see the new snowfall there. Here we go. From Springfield down to Hartford, from Massachusetts into Connecticut, that's sort of the line of the 8+ inches. Anything off to the west of that, we should be on the lighter range of that precip shield, but still 5 to 8, right? Still a decent snowfall that's going to impact travel if it's on the roadways. 12 to 18 for Providence, Rhode Island, and you're going to be getting 12 to 18 up towards the Boston area as well. So as we see that snow wrapping up tonight down towards Long Island, it's the eastern end of Long Island that gets the snow. Close to New York City, it's going to be much less in terms of accumulation. And for Boston, taking a closer zoom in at the city, everyone is getting a foot plus of snowfall. It's why the lines were so long at the grocery store yesterday. But guys, this is a one-day thing. So hopefully you're fine to stay home for one day, and then by tomorrow you'll be able to get back out again. They do a great job of clearing the roads up here. Plymouth, we're in the 18 to 24 inch range of snowfall. So here's a closer look at some of the areas in the south areas of Boston. Foxborough, it's 12 to 18. New Bedford, same thing. Plymouth, where Jim Cantori is, not only do you have coastal concerns there, but we've got 18 to 24 inches of snow expected there as well. For the most part, the snowfall will be of the either average or lighter consistency, where it's going to add up a little bit more. It'll be easier to shovel. But I think right along the coast, there's going to be a bit more moisture content in that, and that's going to make it a bit heavier to shovel and also lead to some power outage concerns. Portland, we got 12 to 18 for you coming our way today with these coastal flood concerns. There are coastal flood advisories and warnings that are posted here right along the shoreline in the islands as well and down towards the Cape. And for us today, when the wind is from the northeast, that's going to be our problem wind. Now, we only have one high tide cycle to get through, and that's this morning high tide. So that's an improvement over Riley. If you remember Riley, the first storm that we dealt with in March here, that one had several high tide cycles. If not for one location, it was, I believe, 7. It's not going to be that way for this one. We'll keep the northeast winds. We'll be dealing with that high tide for you, especially Massachusetts coastline. It'll be the morning high tide that's the biggest concern. And by the time we get to this evening's high tide, the wind should have changed direction for us, at least in coastal Massachusetts. And that's going to help us out big time when it comes to any concerns for coastal flooding. But for now, we're in it, and waves are going to be crashing on shore as well. All right, let's go coast to coast right now, and we will bullet at your weekend in view. And of course, we start with today's forecast always. And we've got that nor'easter as our main story today and continuing to this evening. And then it's out of here. Just some that northerly flow is going to bring us some of the snow showers continuing into northern parts of New York and Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine. So ski country up there. You guys are getting another great round. The west, our attention turns to the west. We got some showers out there today. There will be more as we get you into the end of the week. So Thursday's forecast shows another round of rain coming into northern and central California. That first system is now spreading into portions of the Intermountain West as well. And then by your Fridays, we watch everything move along here. That system moves out into the central plains. Look how far north the rain snow line is, and we get you into Saturday, and we will be looking at here that rainmaker in the south. Yes, more showers, possible thunderstorms, but not a lot of snow with it. So no, we're not talking about another winter storm after this. There's obviously still some snow to talk about, and we've got that across Montana and Wyoming by the end of the change direction, and we will be looking at, I think, less of a risk. So coastal flood warnings are up. Again, the morning high tide is the concern. It starts, let's see, Plymouth, your high tide is just after 9 this morning. You go up to Portsmouth, it's about 9:30. You go to Portland, it's after 10. So that's the time frame of when we could have those coastal concerns right here. The winds coming from the northeast will be the reason why. So it's high tide plus the wind pushing the water onshore, but the winds change directions by the time we get to know. But by March, we're kind of done with it, aren't we? But we got a big day ahead with Winter Storm Skylar here in the northeast. Winter weather advisories in lighter blue, darker blue, the warnings. The pink are the blizzard warnings. And we'll take a closer inspection of this here. All of coastal Maine, coastal New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and the Cape, we are all under blizzard warnings. Winds 35 miles per hour. Plus reducing visibility a quarter mile or less for 3 hours or more. That makes a blizzard, and we could see that today. The water vapor showing us our low pressure off the coast, and just what an amazing sight, I have to say. Just geeking out for a moment yesterday, watching this thing move off the coast and then really blossoming over the Gulf Stream. You can see the moisture feed. This is the pinks and the blues coming in. The moisture feed coming around, so we've got a tropical tap of moisture coming in right here, and just sort of a classic setup with that dry feed of air as well, sort of enhancing the instability. So we're going to be watching today for some heavy snow. Some thunder snow is a possibility as well. Is it going to be offshore or onshore? That's still yet to be seen, but that's a possibility. In fact, there it is. Look at some lightning way out there offshore for now. But Boston, we're in the snow. New York City, we are in the snow. We're going to get a lot less accumulation here in New York City, but it's snowing this morning and visibility running a mile right now at LaGuardia. So for now, you guys are at least going to watch for maybe some slushiness there on the grass. Then take a look at the forecast. So we start this morning, snow across northern Jersey, New York City, and then it's over by lunchtime. So that's it for you. Then we are in it for the rest of the day with the snow heavy at times. The wind still very gusty from Massachusetts up into Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. This is going to be a big storm for you, as Maine likely to be one of your top 10, easily going to be one of your top 10 March snowstorms. And by the way, going back in March in Portland, very interestingly, 4 out of your top 10 largest March snowstorms happened on the 13th of March, and it is the 13th of March. Coincidence? Yeah. Most spots getting 12 to 18 across much of Maine, eastern Massachusetts, down towards the Cape. But there's a few areas in the pink. These are spots that are going to get more than 18 to 24 inches. So that's 2 feet. So it's going to be something we watch in terms of banding, something we watch in terms of a nowcast situation. Who's really going to get that biggest number? But a widespread foot plus of snowfall, and that includes you in Boston, where some of the heaviest of snow will fall starting this morning, continuing until about 4 or 5 o'clock. And then after that, just snow showers continuing. All of this time will be very windy, as on March the 2nd from Winter Storm Riley. And the reason why is because we only have one high tide cycle that we've got to get through to see the worst impacts. So there are coastal flood warnings and coastal flood advisories. The advisories farther north, the warnings right here. But again, it's the morning high tide that's going to be the issue. That's when we're going to have a combination of waves plus the onshore wind, and that's going to help enhance the tide levels, and we'll see that concern for coastal flooding. So the fact that we've got this fetch of wind, that northeast fetch of wind pushing right towards the coastline, that's going to cause the coastal concerns. And you can see the direction. Watch these wind streams right here. A northeast wind means the wind is coming from the northeast, pointed at the coastline, and it's been very gusty, very strong all through the overnight and early morning hours here. So we see that wind direction continue through about midday. The high tide starts just after 9 this morning down here near the Cape, and then in Maine it's just after 10 something. So we're going to watch the morning high tide as an issue, but by this evening the winds change direction, and by tomorrow morning for the high tide there, not as concerned about it because now the winds are pushing offshore. So they're coming in from the west or the northwest. So that'll work against any water coming on in. Boston, here we go. Here's a look at your winds over the next 18 hours. Very windy today. 50 or 60 mile per hour wind gusts. It's already been crazy windy, and believe it or not, that wind is going to get stronger. No break today. You will hear it going strong out your window all day long. All right, let's get back out to